Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Flutespresso, episode 16. I'm here with Jennifer Grimm. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi everyone.
If you're new to Flutespresso, the idea is that this is a casual coffee chat. I'm happy to be here on behalf of Flute Specialists. My name is Heather Neuenschwander. I invite you to grab a cup of coffee, tea, whatever your favorite beverage might be this time of day. It's 12 o'clock Eastern. It's 11 o'clock where I am in Iowa. For Jennifer, it's 9 a.m. And every once in a while, we have flutists join us from Europe, and you have decide often to have a glass of wine. That is fine as well. Flutespresso is open to all. So today we are doing a giveaway. Jennifer has so nicely signed one of our Flutespresso mugs, and we will be giving one away to randomly to someone from the comments. So I'm asking you, and you've already started. Hi, Ellen. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Ellen.
Please comment, join us, tell us where you are joining from, where you're listening from, what you're drinking. If you have any questions or comments for Jennifer, just put it there in the chat and we'll do our best to get to you. Enough of that. So here we go. I think that most flutists are well aware of you, Jennifer, and the many things that you do. You're so busy. I don't think I know the many things that you do either. But in case there's non-flutists here who don't know you, I love this quote. You've been hailed as a deft, smooth flute soloist by the New York Times, associate professor of flute at the University of Miami Frost School of Music, a passionate advocate of diversity initiatives in the field of classical music, a native of Berkeley, California. You have degrees from Stanford University and Yale University, an ambassador clinician for Haynes Flutes. We love Haynes Flutes. And you serve on the board of directors for the Chamber Music America. And of course, you are the program chair for the upcoming National Flute Association Convention. Welcome, Jennifer. Start by telling us, what are you drinking today?
Oh, hi, Heather. Thank you so much for having me. This is really, really fun. It's really special. It is 9 a.m. I'm actually currently in Las Vegas right now, so it is definitely time for some coffee. And so I am drinking my normal, drip coffee that I have every day religiously, with my nice mug. So thank you. I'm enjoying it very much, especially because it's a little early still for me here.
Yes, I was saying earlier, I know that 9 a.m. for a performer is early. So thank you. And you just I drink black coffee. And is that the same for you as well?
I like to have a little cream in my coffee. So yeah, just to soften it up a little bit for me.
So I've been following you a little bit on Facebook. Maybe you saw, but you're just finishing up the festival Napa Valley. Do you want to tell us about that a little bit?
Sure. This is the first year of a multi-year partnership between the Frost School of Music and Festival Napa Valley. I'd always heard about Festival Napa Valley, being in Las Vegas and also being in California. Who doesn't want to play in a festival in wine country? I mean, it's a fantastic venue. We played at wineries all across the Napa Valley. It's an educational festival as well as a festival for the general public. The Frost School of Music sort of sponsored a few of our students, but we also had students from around the country audition to be a part of this festival. I serve as the artistic administrator, so I, had a hand in selecting all of the students and hiring all of the faculty, the guest faculty that came to the festival and performed. I also curated the concerts, so I programmed the chamber concerts and had a hand in the orchestra concerts. So it's a little bit of my, my preference. I really like organizing things and programming things. I guess that's why I became program chair for the NFA. But before all of this, I used to run a chamber music series in Las Vegas. So I've been doing that for, I think, 7 years from before I even came to Miami. So the idea of putting programs together, putting people together, finding interesting ideas for unique pieces programs, all that's been really fun for me. I've always enjoyed doing that. So I kind of fell into this role at the Festival Napa Valley just recently, and it's been a lot of fun. We played, I played in a woodwind quintet with students. That was really fun. I played one of my favorite pieces by Andrei Cervansky. It's a fantastic piece by Hungarian composer. My quintet, Zéphyros Winds, we play it all the time. And so it was really fun to introduce this piece to the students. The students were fantastic, all graduate students at conservatories all over the country. It was really fun. We also played our own faculty concerts. I played Piazzolla, History of the Tango with marimba with my colleague. It's just been really fun to do that. And then I played in the orchestra, and the orchestra was made up of principal players of, people from major orchestras all over the country. It was like very, very humbling, very honored to be there. So it was a very jam-packed 2.5 weeks. And it was super fun. And it almost felt like the world was normal again, even though I know that, things are definitely not that way, but we were all in this bubble. Everyone in the festival was vaccinated. So we were able to kind of behave as if things were actually fine again. And then now back out of the festival, realizing that, the world still has a long way to go until things are normal again. But it was a fantastic trip. And so now I'm, energized, and, my creative juices are like fulfilled for the moment, which is great.
The pictures were beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. And, the downside is the Napa Valley. It's a very dry climate. It's very warm in the summers, very warm. And so because of COVID, we had to play outside. And so that got quite toasty, very toasty. But I'll take that over not being able to play any day. So.
And considering that you teach in Miami, if you're saying it's toasty,
yes,
I believe you.
Yes, living in Las Vegas for 12 years and now in Miami, definitely I have my fair share of hot weather. I'm getting acclimation. Definitely am acclimated to hot weather, and it was still pretty hot there too.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking that in addition to all the organizing, you did so much playing as well. Is it difficult to find that balance between administrating the program and also being prepared to perform?
Yes, it definitely is. I think in a normal year, it would be more of a struggle because I would probably have to be balancing more playing. But this was sort of the one major playing obligation I had this summer. So it was easier for me to kind of be on top of it. But in normal years, it has been a real struggle. When I was organizing the Chamber Series in Las Vegas and the beginning stages of the NFA planning, where I was up until 1, 2 a.m. trying to finish organizing events and just the schedule for the conventions, and then realizing I still had a recital I had to prepare for and all of those things. It's really hard to kind of put everything together. The balancing is really difficult. I think for me, I have to do my playing early in the day, or else it doesn't happen. So I try to do the play, kind of like my exercising. I try to exercise and play first thing in the day. And then if I get back to it, that's great. But if not, then I know I've at least done that. And then it's easier for me to focus on the administrative aspects of things later in the day. Because I can do that when I'm a little tired, I suppose, but it's really hard for me to focus on practicing if I'm a little tired. So that's what's worked for me.
That's a great tip for any time.
Yeah, it's hard.
And Ellen has commented here. Did I see that Aaron Ribb was with you there as well?
Yes, Aaron, my student from my University of Miami. So he was one of the Frost students that came to the festival, and so he played in the flute section, and he played wonderfully. He worked on the Rager Serenade, and so I coached him on that. We also played the Mozart Flute Quartet, and he played in the orchestra, and it's been really fun to have my student with me in Napa at the festival. Is really fun. And all of the students, it's been really, really fun to have them outside of the school environment in sort of a more of a professional environment. It was really great. It was a great festival. So thanks, Ellen.
Many of us are finally experiencing just a bit of that joy of going back to in-person performance, a lot outside right now, some inside. And there is just a mix of emotions with that, isn't there?
Mhm. Yes. I mean, it was interesting for the very first concert I played since the pandemic with others. I played it actually I played a couple of times. I played once at my university with my colleagues, and this was really like a, a more of a show of solidarity than anything else, because our students have had to play with masks on all year, and it's really challenging. I mean, you can imagine. I don't know how many here have had to endure playing with masks on, but it's not fun and it doesn't sound the best. But it was what we were able to do at the time. And so myself and the clarinet professor, Margaret Donahue, and the bassoon professor, Gabriel Beavers, we decided to put on a trio concert at school. So we played a concert and we had to wear masks as well. And so we played this concert, and working on this music with masks on, we became even more, sympathetic to our students, realizing like how difficult it has been to play with these conditions. And yes, I'm grateful that I was able to play with those, to play at all, as opposed to many other programs, which were just online lessons. So we were very grateful to be able to play, but playing with a mask on is not fun. So we did a concert of masked trios, and that was a fun experience. But since then, my first concert with no masks and no distancing was with my quintet, Zéphyros Winds, in May. And I mean, we all like started crying afterwards, because it was like amazing that we were able to play again and just hear the music this close again. Like, we've had to hear music far away, we had to hear music through a computer, we've had to kind of endure all of these things, but all of a sudden we could like feel the energy again. And it's just been so long that we just all just started sobbing at the end of the concert. It was so emotional. So that was like amazing to come back to. And then this festival here was, it was like, nothing's changed. It just was like 2019, and it just seemed like a fairy tale. It was like kind of a dream, because now we're having to go back into a different reality. But it was really emotional to be able to play again. It's really special.
I'm wondering if people listening might have similar experiences, and feel free to share your first getting back to playing moment, or upcoming, maybe it hasn't happened yet, but you're looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to transition over to talking about the NFA conventions. Speaking of things that we're really excited about, but just aren't quite the same as it always has been.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've been planning this NFA convention now for how long?
I'm trying to remember when they first asked me to do it. I was still teaching in Las Vegas. I believe it was 2018. So I've known about it since 2018. And I started really planning since 2019. So it's been going on 3 years of like preliminary planning, and then 2 years of kind of like more intensive planning. And then this last year of, I had it all planned, and then I had to rework everything. So it's had different stages. So it's been very interesting. I go back with my notes from the very beginning stages, and we had all these plans. We had all of these plans to do these amazing things in Dallas. And, we went to Dallas. I went to the actual convention hotel twice to like check it out and, take a mental look of like where each event was going to be, where the flute choirs would be, where the gala dinner would be, where the all master classes would be. I mean, I did that twice. The last time I think was in February of 2020, not realizing that, maybe the end of January, early February of 2020, not realizing that, everything would change after that. So, so by the time we canceled the convention in the middle of March, I think it was right after the declaration that it was a global pandemic. And so since the middle of March was when it was canceled. At that point, I had everything completely planned. Yeah. So I had every concert planned and every, the schedule had been complete, and I had literally sent the schedule to the convention director, I think like the week before. It's like, here is the final schedule, ta-da! And then like a week later, crash and burn. So, so then after sort of a period of mourning and, crying and, of all of this, I mean, literally thousands of hours putting into this event. And then just to have it just be washed away completely, we were able to pivot and move all of the programming to the next year, assuming that things would be fine by August of 2021. So we assumed everything would, so we were going to be live in Washington, D.C. And so all the program would be exactly the same, but in Washington, D.C. And as the summer and fall wore on, we realized, well, maybe it won't be over so quickly. It might actually take a little bit longer. And so meanwhile, in the summer, I along with some colleagues, Catherine Emineth, Naomi Seidman, and Tabitha Easley, we put together a summer series very quickly. We wanted to put out content that would be valuable to the public, to the flute audience. And so I took some of the elements of the Dallas convention, but most everything was just going to be shifted to Washington, D.C. And then the main issue was that the hotel in Washington, D.C., I think closed permanently. And so so we couldn't, so it was impossible for us to have a convention, and the pandemic wasn't getting any better really. So I think it was like a sign, it was a sign. And so the NFA made a decision to have the 2021 convention be virtual. So at that point I had to try to pivot the Dallas programming to a virtual format. And then you have to remember, at this point, people who had planned to play in Dallas submitted their proposals in September of 2019. And here it is, August of 2021. I mean, they're having to play the same pieces they've been wanting to play like 2 years ago. And, and it's so I feel badly because, like sometimes like, I don't want to play that piece. I've moved on, so, but I mean, everyone that's presenting this August, I mean, it's been really, really great. The convention's been modified. The programming is a little shorter. I mean, and, not everyone was able to put together a virtual performance, but it's amazing what people have been able to put together. It's going to be fantastic. And, I'm sad it's not in person. I mean, I think everyone is, but it's the best at what we can do. And we're going to try to make as exciting of an event as possible. Even though we're all in our living rooms, all at home, I think we're trying to do as much as we can. And there are some fantastic performances that are lined up for the summer, performances and workshops, and also meetups and affinity spaces, things that NFA hadn't really done before last year that we're including this year, which I think is really important, especially I think the mission of the organization is wanting to be more inclusive. I know I've been very much trying to help steer the NFA in that direction for as long as I've been involved. And it's great to see that that's actually really happening. And, we're having a lot of really interesting events. We're bringing a keynote speaker to talk about diversity and inclusion in music, in the field of classical music, as it relates to the flute community, but just as a larger audience as well. And that's the first time
because he's not a flutist, he's a bassoonist. Right.
Yeah. And he's someone I know from being on the board of Chamber Music America. And he's a fantastic speaker. And it goes way beyond flute. These issues are so important to us as a society. Like if we're going to progress as flute players, we need to progress as a society. And so I think it's so important for us to have these discussions. And at a flute convention where so many people are gathered together, it's definitely possible to kind of, I don't know, push the envelope a little bit and start having these discussions. I mean, we're also going to have all of the other really fun events that bring us together too, but why not also challenge our minds and really think about what we can do to make it a better place for everyone? It's has not been that way. And I know for myself, I have not always felt included in the NFA, even though I am program chair now. I've not felt that way. I've not felt comfortable. And I know I'm not alone in thinking that. So I think these kinds of conversations are super, super important to have. And so I hope that the people who are planning on attending the NFA convention can go to his keynote address and just support, just widening our perspectives. There's a lot of people who really are definitely thinking this way, and some people who just haven't had the experiences. If they haven't had these experiences happen to them, they don't really understand and don't really know the other perspectives. So I think it helps just to kind of bring in someone, and I like that it's not a flutist, bring in someone to just kind of help us see things in a different way. So that's one of the things I'm really excited for in this format, to have Lacolian Washington come and talk with us.
I was just going to make sure to say his name because I didn't think you had said his name, and I wanted to make sure you did.
Yes. Lacolian Washington is the executive director of the Community Center of Boston. And I've known him for a long time, as a bassoonist. I played with him, but more recently, I've seen his work in DEI, especially on the board of Chamber Music America. And it's going to be a really great session. It's going to be fantastic.
I was just listening to his CD, which is on Spotify. Oh. It's fantastic.
Great.
I saw the name, I was like, I don't know this flutist, and then found out it's not a flutist. Yeah, but I love that. The quote I wrote down about him was that he's a staunch advocate for the relevance of music as an agent for social change. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're really speaking to, is working towards social change. I think that's so important. Yes. Thank you for your work.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think many people don't understand how much work it is to be a program chair for NFA, and we always applaud the efforts of the program chair and getting to choose the direction and plan all of the events. And then on top of that, I think that you get, the goldest of gold stars here, because you've had to work through so much more than maybe any of the other program chairs with the virtual format now. And of course the direction for social change, which is fantastic. The title, or the theme, I guess, Variations on a Dream. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting theme. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Sure. I think back in 2019, when we were thinking about what the theme of the convention would be, I really wanted to showcase that. NFA is amazing. It's a terrific organization, and it tends to, it's a self-promoting kind of organization where the same people tend to be a part of NFA because those people are the ones that tend to submit proposals. And so it ends up seeing like this self-fulfilling cycle over and over and over again. The same people submit proposals and the same people get accepted for proposals. And then sometimes it's harder for new voices to get into the fold and into the mix. And so as an outsider once myself, I realized this. I was like, why are the same people always at NFA? I felt this way. I mean, I don't think it was necessarily true, but I did feel like it was not so diverse. So for me, I'm like, I feel like the same voices are at NFA all the time. Why is this? And so I wanted to reach out to more voices as much as I could. And in the title of the theme, I thought about, it's not just the same people you see, but sometimes people come to their careers from different directions. And I think about myself that, my trajectory was not like a straight line at all. My trajectory had lots of turns and ups and downs, and I wasn't even a music major, for example. So, those kinds of things. And I wanted to kind of celebrate people who had unique paths to their destination. And so while we all sort of have this dream of the flute, we all have sort of variations on it, right? So, you know, I was like a pre-med major and then decided I thought flute was a hobby. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, actually, maybe I want to do flute. And then as I was trying to do flute, I couldn't get a job right away. So I worked at Starbucks, and I proudly talk about my years working at Starbucks. And so, you know, more people I think need to realize that this is almost normal. It's like, you know, slaving away at like a real retail job is okay. And it doesn't have to be a straight line. You don't have to, you're not a failure if you don't get a job out of grad school, or that, you know, you don't pursue things right away, or you take some time off. So I wanted to celebrate that. So the variations on a dream had to do with the diversity of the performances I was trying to bring, the diversity of the repertoire I was trying to bring, people thinking about their careers in different ways. I also wanted to try to bring that to the fold. So all of those things I felt were really important. And so that's kind of how the title came about. So, you know, in terms of events at the NFA, you know, we have an affinity space for BIPOC flutists. We have an affinity space for LGBTQIA+ participants. So we have those affinity spaces. We also have meetup groups for Black, AAPI, Latinx flutists, as well as flutists with disabilities. So, you know, and also college teachers and studio performers, freelancers. So we have things for many, many people, different people who are coming to NFA from different points of view, from different paths. I think all of that is so important to showcase. And so that's what I wanted to sort of bring up with the NFA and with this theme. And there's one event I definitely want to shout out, which this is like probably other than the concerto night, because like it's hard to do concertos, but you'll be surprised. There will be concerto performances virtual. We will have a virtual concerto night. It just won't be as long as the normal one would be. So other than the concerto night, the only other event that I was really, really, really sad that we couldn't do in person was the Saturday night cabaret Flute is a Drag. And so so we have Kylie Fortissimo, a Tyler Ilarian. He is putting together a drag show and bingo night. And so we're going to have this event at NFA. I was really hoping it would be in person because we would have dancing and all these things. This way we'll be dancing at home. But, you know, that's one of the things I was really, really looking forward to having in person. But just another one of these events just to showcase the diversity of our flute community.
Let's hope maybe we'll warm up dancing in our own homes, and then we'll do it again in person in 2022.
I hope so. I hope so.
I've heard fantastic things about that event. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yes. Yeah. Bingo night. So we're doing a Zoom bingo night and performances, and it's going to be really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. Last year for the virtual convention, then it was very different than anything ever before because it was over several weeks and only a couple times a week, and maybe not everybody would know or remember that. And so this year now it's the same length of time it would have been, that extended weekend we're used to.
Yes, it's the same dates. August 12 to 15. Those were the dates we were supposed to be in Washington, D.C. And it's the same times. I mean, everything is in Central Time because the home base of NFA is Chicago. Mm-hmm. So everything is in Central Time. But then if you go to the website and sign up for the website, it automatically adjusts to your own time zone. So you don't have to worry about the time zone when you register for NFA and you sign up for the events. Everything will be adjusted to where you live. But the events start at 9 a.m. and go through 10 p.m. at night, Thursday through Sunday, just like a regular in-person NFA convention has. We have all of the competitions. We'll have the announcements of the winners of the competitions, just like we were in person. So as much as we could mimic, we have the Flute Lovers Lunch, and Damari McGill is the guest for the Flute Lovers Lunch. This way, you don't have to buy an extra ticket for lunch. You just eat your own lunch at home. And we also have the pedagogy breakfast, which I think is called Food for the Day's Journey. and that's another event. And Alberto Armaza is the guest speaker for that event. And so, you know, you can have your coffee with your Flute Specialist mug in the morning and listen to Alberto's speech. So, you know, you can listen to it in bed if you want, because I think that's at 9 a.m. So everything that you would normally experience at NFA, in the comfort of your own home, you get to save on travel expenses. So yes, there is a registration fee and membership fee, but you save on travel expenses, you save on hotel expenses. So I urge everyone to sign up for NFA if you haven't done so already. It's going to be a really special event. Maybe I'm biased. I think I'm biased possibly, but it's going to be a really special event. It's 4 days of nonstop flute like extravaganza.
Well, I'm sold. And I was sold anyways, but I'm extra sold now.
Excellent, thank you.
I think for the virtual convention, the one thing that's difficult as an attendee is to really feel like you're a part of it. In attending last year, of course, last summer, being able to hear another flutist was almost a novelty sometimes. And I loved the warm-up sessions. I'd put in my headphones and just play along with someone else, even though they couldn't hear me. I still felt like I was a part of it. I'm not sure if you have an answer for this. I'm kind of springing it on you, but do you have any ideas or tips for how, as an attendee, we can really feel like we're a part of it?
Well, we do have warm-up sessions. So the what's great is when we did the summer series, we realized what were the most popular events, and that was the warm-up sessions. So from last year's events, the warm-up sessions were by far the most popular things. So we have warm-up sessions on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday already scheduled. We also have flute choir sight reading sessions. So it's a little bit similar to the warm-up sessions, and I think you can, once you register for the convention, you can get a copy of the music for the sight reading sessions, and then you can play along. You play along with your headphones on mute, and there'll be a backing track of the pieces. And it's as if you are involved as much as you can be in this kind of format. So I think we're having we have 3 sight reading sessions, plus the first day we have the opening orchestra, which is also a sight reading session. I mean, it's not really sight reading. You get the music ahead of time, but we're just calling it a sight reading orchestra. So we have 4 sight reading sessions that people can participate in and sort of feel a part of the community. We have the 3 warm-up sessions on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we also have happy hours. So we have happy hours on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where a member of the board of directors of NFA will host the happy hour. It'll be a Zoom meeting. We'll gather together. We'll go into breakout rooms where we do little networking. Just like when you're at a happy hour, you kind of break up into a group of 4 for a few minutes, and then you kind of mingle and go to another group of 4. And so instead of like a Zoom room of 40 people where it's kind of awkward, it'll be smaller groups, and then we'll rotate them throughout the hour so that people get a chance to meet new people. And so I think that's also a really positive, a chance to network and meet people. So we're trying as much as we can to create a sense of community at NFA through this online platform. Plus, I believe the platform itself allows for spur of the moment meetups. So attendees at the convention can say, hey, you want to talk about piccolo, and then people who are interested in piccolo can just gather together in a chat room and just talk about piccolo together. So these things will happen at the convention too. So, I think the NFA has done an amazing job at trying to bring in these elements of community in this online world. So, I mean, I'm hopeful that it will be successful, but I think, I'm excited at what we're offering that will be, and that embraces the community and that involves the community in a participatory way. There are an amazing number of events every day that involve the attendees performing or engaging or talking. So,
and I'll actually get to play bingo, right? Do I get to yell bingo or type it?
I think, yeah, I'm not, and maybe you type the bingo, or I don't really know. It's like one of those online games where I think you also have your individual device and you play, and it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really fun. So I've never played bingo. I've never played actually, I've played bingo maybe when I was a kid, but I've heard that drag bingo is really, really fun. And so I can't wait to do flute drag bingo. That's like off the charts. Very excited for it.
That is the best teaser ever.
Yes.
We will make sure this is a clip available for people to see. You need to check that out.
I see in the chat, Joey. Hi, Joey. Everyone lives for drag bingo. So exactly. See, I'm not alone. I never did. I never did. Yeah, Joey was my former student in at UNLV. And I know bingo is a big thing in Vegas. I never did it. I don't know why, but it is a big thing there. So yeah.
So before I transition out of talking about NFA, have I missed anything you really wanted to make sure that you mentioned? Did we hit all of the topics?
I think, yes, I wanted to make sure everyone knew about the participatory events, the Flute is a Drag event, the Concerto Night. The Concerto Night is going to feature, it's actually a chamber and concerto night, so it's a little bit expanded. So Marina Piccinini has a beautiful chamber set of 3 pieces with her trio that's going to open the concert. And then we have the world premiere of Amanda Harburg's Piccolo Concerto that was supposed to be premiered in Dallas. And she actually, Erica Peel is the soloist, she actually premiered it with the Philadelphia Orchestra. So that premiere was supposed to happen after the Dallas premiere. Like, we were supposed to do it first, but it's okay. Philadelphia Orchestra, they're pretty good. So they did the actual premiere, but we have access to the video, so we'll be able to watch that premiere performance. We also have a performance of Damari McGill with the Seattle Symphony playing Martin Ballade. And then we have 2 new performers that were added to this year's schedule. Jasmine Choi is performing the Mendelssohn Concerto. And Karl-Heinz Schutz, who is the principal flutist of the Vienna Philharmonic, he is performing the Busoni Divertimento. So that's the concerto night, and that's like an amazing, amazing artists. It's interesting, I didn't realize this at the time, but with Marina Piccinini, Jasmine Choi, and Karl-Heinz Schutz, I think they all live in Vienna. I didn't realize that, but they're very diverse artists, but all kind of coming from the same place. It's very interesting. And then Damari McGill and Erica Peel. So I'm really looking forward to that gala concert as well. There is one other world premiere I wanted to let everyone know about. It's a world premiere by the composer Jessie Montgomery. Jessie Montgomery is, she's a terrific composer. I know her because she is also on the board of Chamber Music America, and she is writing a quartet for 4 flutes, and that will be premiered on Friday night, August 13th, at the gala concert in the evening. The performers of that concert are Alison Loggins Hull, Brandon Patrick George, Carissa Lee, and Elena Pinderhughes. And it's going to be a virtual, multi-tracked sort of performance premiere. When this was all happening, it was hopefully we were going to have a live performance, so it'll be a multi-tracked performance. But the NFA got a generous donation from philanthropist David Brown, who is a amateur flutist in Michigan who studies with Amy Porter. He is a I can't remember exactly which. Ellen may know if she's still here. The kind of doctor. It's like a I can't remember what doctor. He's a brilliant doctor and professor at the University of Michigan, and is an advocate of diversity. And so he has sponsored this commission, and it's going to be a terrific piece. And that world premiere will happen on Friday, August 13th at 8 p.m. Also on that concert will be performances by Tara O'Connor, flutist from New York City, professor at SUNY Purchase and Bard College. Also, the eminent new music aficionado Claire Chase is performing a world premiere piece, part of her Density 2036 project. We also have performances by New York flutist Alex Sopp, and Alison Loggins Hull is performing one of her chamber pieces. So that's going to be a terrific. The Friday night gala concert is like is a new music chamber. Okay, Ellen says, yes. David Brown is one of UM's most lauded otolaryngologists. Yes, that's why I could not say what it was. So thank you, Ellen.
Ellen.
He's like an amazing doctor of some sort, and I don't know what it is, but thank you, Ellen. And so David Brown's commission is really, it's a gift to the entire flute community. We have a flute quartet by a rising star composer, Jessie Montgomery. She is now the composer in residence at the Chicago Symphony. She is fantastic. We all want more music from her. She is fantastic, amazing. So definitely tune in. That's the other big show I wanted to definitely plug for the convention.
And also, of course, one more reminder, don't forget the keynote speaker, Lucoli in Washington.
Yes, and the keynote speaker, and will be Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. Keynote speaker, Lucoli in Washington. It's going to be, a really, really ear, nose, and throat. Okay, thank you, Ellen. Ear, nose, and throat doctor. Thank you.
Ellen, thank you for being here, really. We really appreciate you. Next time we'll just put her on the screen.
Yes.
So as we move out of NFA, do you have any other upcoming projects? I mean, not that you would have time, but I'm sure you have other things in the works that maybe you'd want to tell us about.
I'm ready for NFA. I'll just say that. I'm ready for the NFA. At this point, all my focus, because I had this festival, which kind of sidetracked me a little bit, but now like all of my focus is on NFA, and literally the day after NFA, I have an all-day retreat at my university. So it's basically school starts from then on. I have an upcoming recording project that I'm hoping to do next fall, or actually later this fall. I received a grant from my university to perform works by composers of color. And so I have an album that I'm preparing for that. I'm excited because I get to work with Tanya Leon, who just won the Pulitzer Prize for music. She also happens to be in residence at the Frost School of Music for this coming year, for 2021. So I'm excited to be able to play her piece, Alma, for her and get her own feedback. And I'll be recording that piece probably in December, along with other pieces by Black composers. So I'm excited. I'll have also a composer that maybe not so many of us flutists know about, but he has a terrific piece. His name is David Sanford. He has a piece called Klatka Still. It's in this anthology that includes Alma as well, Tanya Leon's piece. It's a fantastic piece, and David is actually writing me another piece for flute and piano. So I'll be premiering that piece as well. So I have a recital in December and then a recording project after that. So that's sort of my own solo project. I also have performances with Zéphyros Winds, given that things are still on an upward trajectory in terms of COVID. And I have some recitals at different flute clubs across the country that are planned that I'm excited to actually get on a plane for. So this year is like, I'm creeping back to normal. It's like slowly creeping back to normal, but this recording project is something that has been in the works for a long time. I just haven't been able to do it because of COVID and NFA. So I'm excited that once NFA is passed, I can focus on this recording. So,
well, when it's done, please do let us know, and we can help.
I will.
The formal announcement. I can't wait to hear it.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you.
I always know that we're getting to the end of our Flutespresso time as my coffee cup is about empty. And
okay, yes.
So whenever I'm out of coffee is when I stop doing things.
I see. I get it. Okay. That's great.
So I'm going to switch on over to our Flutespresso Express round full of some
okay.
questions. See, you can drink some now, and I'll fill for you for a second. So this is your last chance to write in the comments. We are choosing at random one person from all of the comments to receive a signed mug by Jennifer Grimm. So Ellen, you've commented a lot. I'm feeling good about your chances, but if anyone else wants to get in on that, now is your chance as we go through our express round. Are we ready?
I guess.
I'll start with an easy one. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tea, it was easy, right? And your favorite type of coffee?
Actually, I've been addicted to the coffee in New Orleans, Café du Monde, and I get that coffee they have it at Whole Foods, and sometimes I even get it delivered. But ever since I was in New Orleans, I had that coffee because it has chicory in it. Everything else pales in comparison. So that's my favorite coffee.
Oh, good. They now owe you some sponsorship money. So.
They do.
Yeah. Piccolo or alto flute?
Alto.
Dogs or cats?
See, that's hard. I grew up with dogs, but my lifestyle is a little bit, I travel too much, so I can't really have a dog. I got my mom a cat recently, and I've just fallen in love with the cat. They're a little bit easier to handle. So I think right now I'm more of a cat person, but my former self would hate me for saying that. But yeah. So.
We'll let you go down the middle and say both.
Okay, both.
There you go. Would you rather perform chamber music or solo works?
Chamber music. The collaborative aspect is just, we feed off of each other, and that's just the best thing for me. Best.
Do you have one favorite piece of chamber music to perform, or one favorite composer?
I know, because it's always what I'm working on at the moment, because you get so involved in it that it ends up taking over, and then you go on to the next project, and then that, there are pieces I always love to play, but I can't say there's a specific thing that, a specific piece that really draws me. I mean, I played some of my favorite works just at this festival. So the Mozart Flute Quartet in D major, it's always so glorious. The second movement is so beautiful. It's really, really fun to play. It's virtuosic, but not so difficult. Everyone can just have a good time, and really bring out the spirit and character of the music. I love it. I also performed Piazzolla History of the Tango, which is a piece that I've done forever with guitar, and then more recently with marimba. And the difference is with marimba, it's just a louder instrument. So it changes the way I play it. So a piece that I've played for a long time a certain way now has a new life when it's with a different instrument with different volume and dynamic capabilities. So it totally changed the way I played it. So, it's kind of whatever I'm working on at the moment. I know it's a cop out, sorry.
No, I love the one you're with kind of gal.
Yes.
Silver flute or gold flute?
Gold, because I haven't played one now. So.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate. Well, both, because I'm black and white, mixed black and white. So I say both.
Excellent. Good. You're getting right down that middle. I like it.
There you go.
Hot dogs or pizza?
Pizza.
Ibert or Nielsen?
Nielsen. Yeah.
Baroque or contemporary?
Oh, I cannot choose. I must plead the fifth. I can't, because they are both so dear to me. I play Baroque flute. I do a lot with Baroque flute. I teach it, I perform on it. I have a Baroque group. And then I do a lot of contemporary music. So I cannot have a preference. So both.
Excellent. Do you have a favorite movie?
I don't really have time to watch movies. Maybe after NFA. If you ask me after NFA, maybe I'll have time to go to a movie or watch TV, but not right now.
All right, I will shock you and I will follow up.
Okay, please do. Please do.
Mozart in G or Mozart in D?
Mozart in D. I've played both with audiences, and audiences tend to get more excited at the last movement of D major. So it's more fun to play when the audiences kind of get more excited about it. So yeah.
I'm guessing you haven't been able to watch much of the Olympics, but do you maybe have a favorite Olympic sport, or you can pass?
I mean, I used to do gymnastics when I was a kid. I know all of that's happening right now, and I have not, other than just the news of stuff happening, I have not actually been able to watch any of it.
Well, we'll say gymnastics and go Simone.
Yes, go Simone.
And the last thing, it's not this or that again, but do you have a favorite NFA moment that you'd like to share?
I mean, I've shared the ones I really am proud of. Did the gala concerts, the flute is a drag, the keynote speaker, the affinity spaces for communities of color, for LGBTQ, for flutists with disabilities. I think all those are just super important to have. I don't know. I think all of the moments are good. So you just have to come to NFA and experience all of it. And what's great, okay, here we go. What's great is that you can watch everything this year. See, every other time there's like 7 or 8 events going on at the same time, and people are running from one room to the next room to try to hear this piece here, and oh, I want to try to get to hear this piece here. This way, you can attend every event, whether it's live at the time it's scheduled or again the next week, because everything will be up on the website until September 5th. So the fact that this virtual thing is happening is a blessing, because you can actually experience every second of every performance. And every performance is fantastic. There's people who put together elaborate videos and put together all of these. They put a lot of work into this convention, into their presentations, and that we're able to actually witness all of it at all times at our own time, I think is really great. So
thank you. Thank you for your hard work in all of that, planning all of it. And thank you for being here with me today, taking this time, even though you have so much to do.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to shout out to, thanks, Joey. Joey was in the audience. I played Mozart D, so you can tell that the audience was into it. But yeah, so no, thanks for everyone watching. And
Yes.
thank you, Heather, for having me. This has been really fun. I've been excited to talk about the NFA. It's now actually starting to get, it's actually happening. The countdown is actually happening. And so there are really, really great events for literally everyone. And I really hope that people can attend, register if you haven't already. Again, it's much cheaper this year than it would be at any other time. It's accessible to all, with the online platforms. You can see any event at any time up until the beginning of September. Please take advantage. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. See you all at NFA.
All right. Thank you.